Ready to get in on the ground floor of a $22 billion plus industry? The moving industry and two college brothers moving and storage. After 13 years of perfecting their business model, creating 5-star raving reviews on every move, it's time for you to explore an exciting franchise opportunity designed to help you dominate your hometown moving market. Here's the advantages of a two college brothers franchise. Capture the largest territories in the moving franchise industry. Take advantage of extremely competitive franchise fees and royalties. Their proprietary master's degree in moving training program teaches you everything that you need to know about the moving industry. Lifetime one-on-one support. Become a recognized pillar of your local community with their hometown dominator marketing strategy. Get more information and learn about their $1 million guarantee. twocollegebrothers.com. Click on the franchise opportunities link. That's the number 2, twocollegebrothers.com. Hey, I just want to mention this one time because I think that after I stopped recording on the interview, Lubna had said, hey, I have an idea. And it was such a great idea. And I never do this, but I'm like, okay, let me hit record. Let's do this again. So Lubna has made a really interesting offer. Anyone that is in our Nice Guy community that wants to take advantage of the stuff that we talked about today and have a free coaching session on the air with me, Lubna, and you, whoever you are out there in their community that's listening, will be able to do that. And Lubna, can you maybe describe what happens in that first, like 10 or 15 minutes when you start to connect with somebody? How do you, without going too deep into sharing any levels of confidentiality to our audience with that person, how do you get information from them in that quick order?
Yeah, I think we start with an intention. So I would need whoever wants to do this to just sign a form that they are okay with doing this online and in front of everybody, and they're okay to release it because this will be on record online. And then after they do that, I ask everybody to come with an intention. So for example, my intention for today is to figure out why I behave this way, or my intention is to have a better relationship, or whatever their intention is. So I ask the person who's coming to the session to come with an intention. And then what we do is we unpack that intention. Why is that important for them? What would that get them if they were to do that? What is their belief about themselves? When it comes to that intention, how far does this go back? What do they want to do about that? What does that look like in 6 months? What can they do about that? And we actually have a lot of belief in the client's process. So we don't give advice. We just ask questions that help the person from within come up with ideas that would work for them. So they need to be willing to be vulnerable on air. They need to be willing to share their personal stuff and be genuine about that. And I'm more than happy to do that for anybody in your community. Anytime.
All right. Well, there is the offer. We'll throw it out there. And you know what we're going to do? We're going to put this segment right at the beginning of the show so that all of the contact information will be in the upcoming episode that you're about to hear. So Nice Guy community, this little prequel is going to, or precap is going to be at the top of the interview. You're about to hear the interview with Lubna, and you're going to hear why it's important for you, if you're interested in what she has to share, to go ahead and contact us based upon the contact information that we share in the episode. And it's right there in the show notes as well. Or you can reach out to her on LinkedIn. All of that information is in the show notes, and we share it on the show as well. Thanks, Lubna. And looking forward to your interview, which is just about to happen right here. Thanks for being here.
Broadcasting live from the back room at El Pollo Hermanos. It's the Nice Guys on Business. Go from where you are now to where you could be. Get expert tips to grow your business, to be more productive and more efficient, whether you're trying to build influence, grow your community, or make it rain. Best-selling author of Nice Guys Finish First, Doug Sandler, can lead the way. The Nice Guys on Business is produced by TurnKey Podcast Productions. Now, here's your host, Doug Sandler.
Nice Guy community, welcome back to another exciting episode. Lubna Forzley, she is a dynamic mind behind Stories, a portal dedicated to helping brands master the art of storytelling and actually helping the entrepreneurs and the founders that run those companies find their own story from within and the story that they tell themselves daily. Lubna's coaching prowess has left a lasting impact on executives and entrepreneurs at top-tier companies such as Coca-Cola and Google. Lubna is a speaker, gracing the stages of TEDx and global conferences, accomplished author with published book under her belt, and she's currently crafting her next literary literary masterpiece as we speak. With over 2 decades of experience in leadership and consulting, she is leaving her mark in the corporate world, and she's leaving her mark on today's show. Welcome, Lubna, to the Nice Guys on Business podcast.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
I'm excited to talk to you. And I think that the art of storytelling, whether it's the external story that we are telling to our customer-facing side of our business, or it's the story that we're telling ourselves as entrepreneurs, which many in our community are, I think the story we tell to ourselves is the one where I really want to start with. And we'll talk about the external one if we have time. But I want to talk about this internal story that we tell ourselves, because I think we oftentimes as entrepreneurs, right before I hit record, you mentioned this roller coaster ride that we're on all the time. How do you get people to tell themselves the right story at the right time so that they can motivate themselves to get just through their day sometimes, Lubna?
Yeah, I think as you mentioned, we live on a roller coaster ride every day. So 1 minute we're happy and another minute we're super sad. And I think recognizing that that's part of the journey is really, really important. And knowing that, this is what you've signed up for, and accepting that and honoring that and enjoying that ride every day is key and part of that process. And I think what differentiates normal entrepreneurs from extraordinary entrepreneurs is basically their mental resilience and that story they have in their head, and whether they're able to recognize their patterns, their triggers every day is super important. So the way, for example, you've all had situations in your life, and I'm sure you have as well, where your output differs because you've told yourself internally a different story, right? And as coaches, we know how to interrupt a client's story. We're able to understand, that's just an intellectual story you have in your head based on your conditioning in your life. And you just need to recognize that and be aware of it, and then shift that story so that you can get a different output. So I think it all starts with awareness, and you build that awareness with time through different things that you do in your life, through mindfulness, through grounding yourself, through having self-care, through coaching, through many different avenues. You'll be able to then understand that that's just a story. It's not my reality. It's not the truth. It's not a fact. It's just a story that I'm telling myself, and I can shift that every day.
All right, let's talk about that for a second, because I think that's an essential component in the relatability of this message that you're sharing to our audience right now. Share with me an example of a story that someone that is challenged with this entrepreneurial journey that they're taking on comes to you with before they say, Lubna, you've got the magic sauce and you can help me fix this. What are their issues that they're coming to you with?
Oh my God, they come with all kinds of issues. But to give you an example of one of them, they come with co-founder relation issues. So usually like in a startup, or sometimes in a startup, you have 2 co-founders, and these 2 co-founders are operating in a relationship. It's like a marriage, right? And they go through ups and downs, and they can't stand each other. And that actually affects the output of the organization and the productivity of the organization. And so, for example, they come to me and say, I'm unable to work with my co-founder in any shape or form. How can I transform that? Or they come to me with all kinds of other issues. Burnout is a big one for entrepreneurs. But if we go back to the co-founder relation issue, I always say to co-founders, look, it has nothing to do with the other person. If you want to work on your relationship, you got to start by working on yourself first, because what's happening is that you're triggered by the behavior of the other person. So it really has never anything to do with the other person. You just need to recognize why you're being triggered by the behavior of the other person, and then understand that, be aware of that trigger, be aware of that pattern, and then shift that story for yourself. And then when you shift that story for yourself, then you're able to, relate to your co-founder in a better way, or shift your perception of what they're doing. And then you can kind of go in the same direction together and shift your reality together. So that's an example of something that they come to me for.
No, that's great. It's a great example. I just completely put myself into the shoes of the person that is talking to you as a coaching client, because our business, TurnKey Podcast Productions, I have a co-founder or our partner in the business, Strickland, and I'm not talking out of school here when I'm saying this, but we're completely different people. We have a different relationship with time. We have a different relationship with clients. We have a different relationship with customer service. And so many of the things that I do, I'm sure drive him freaking nuts. And so many of the things that he does the same thing for me. The benefit, the thing that we really started to look at a few years ago was that the strengths that he has are the weaknesses of mine, and the strengths that I have are the weaknesses of his. And instead of getting mad or triggered when I see him doing something that would be going down a rabbit hole of process and systems, I embrace it now thinking, hey, without that guy, we would not have a back-end system or create it. And I'm sure he feels the same way about customer service. For me, I'm always focused on the customer and less focused sometimes on what our team is feeling and more focused on our customer. And he's the exact opposite of that. And that seems to be pretty typical of partners, right? I mean, nobody has the same personality or the same style. So are a lot of the things that you're dealing with personality issues when it comes to helping coach your clients through a certain problem or perspective?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it is personality issues. A lot of it is also technical issues. So, for example, if you look at the reasons why startups fail, 9 out of 10 startups fail. That's a very big number, right? And 72% of founders experience mental health stress. So this is another big number. And if you look at the key reasons for these, they run out of cash, they have the wrong team, they don't know how to price their business, they have the wrong business model, they don't know how to market. So there are certainly some technical elements or reasons why startups fail. But I always believe that at the end of the day, it's all about your resilience and your personality, right? So if, for example, you have the wrong marketing or you have the wrong pricing or you have the wrong team, if you teach yourself that skill and you persist and you are resilient enough to believe in your why and continue pursuing your why, you'll be able to teach yourself how to make money, how to fundraise, how to change your marketing, how to outsource. So I think at the end of the day, it's all about your resilience. This is what sets you apart from an average entrepreneur to a remarkable entrepreneur, because you stay consistent and you stay focused on your why and you stay resilient, no matter what challenges you're going to face, because you are going to face challenges every day as an entrepreneur. That's part of the journey that you've signed up for.
What is a tool that you use when it comes to helping strengthen someone's resilience? I know that there are mindfulness and there's meditation and there's all sorts of visioning boards and things, but let's talk to the person that's out there that may not completely relate to me doing breath work is not necessarily going to improve my resilience. Well, the reality of it is it probably will, but let's talk about the practical application of a tool that might be able to help somebody that was trying to teach themselves resilience. Can you help with that?
Yeah, I love amplifying people's strength rather than working on their weaknesses. I think we each come with beautiful gifts and beautiful strength. And I think that we lose sight of these when we're working in a business. We start doing the what that we do. It does not link with the why we're doing it. And we start doing things every day that don't necessarily, amplify our strength. So I love to help a founder figure out their purpose, figure out their strength, and amplify that so that they can produce to better levels. And I help them also outsource the things that are not necessarily among their top strengths. So you mentioned your co-founder, for example, you have certain strength, he has other strength. If you can amplify your own strength and have somebody else do your weaknesses, then that would be the optimum tool, I would say. The other thing that I love to do is to just help founders understand their journey and be compassionate towards themselves on this journey, and understand that they have signed up for something that's very, very difficult. Life is hard, and entrepreneurship makes it harder. So you are going to be putting out fires every day, and you need to learn how to save your energy for the big fires, not for the small fires, right? So save your energy and your fire extinguisher for that big fire, and just have the persistence every day to say, it's okay, that's part of my journey. Failing and falling on the floor is part of my journey, and I'm going to get up every day and do this again until I am successful. Often people see, all of these successful leaders in the world. They're successful because they've worked for 20 years or 15 years behind the scenes before they became so successful, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they kept going at it and they kept trying to be persistent. And I think that that's really important.
They say that success leaves clues. What are some of the clues of some of the successful people that have been willing to make that journey from being someone that wasn't necessarily resilient to someone that became that resilient soul that was able to forge through some of the challenges that they had? So what are some of those clues?
I think consistency, persistence, to stick with the process, resilience to get up when you fail, compassion for yourself on this journey, and compassion for other people who are going on this journey with you is really important. Staying so focused on the why is also another important cue. I think you need to understand why you started this in the first place and stick to that consistently every day. You can adapt, you can pivot, you could change your what every day, but then sticking to the why is very, very important.
When we started our production company, and this is going back probably 7 or 8 years ago, I can recall having the conversation many times with my partner Strickland about he called it the flywheel talk. And it was like, hey, a flywheel takes a lot to get going in the beginning, but once it gets going, it just will run under its own steam. And now that we've been at this for many years, I see 100% what he was talking about. He is not an entrepreneur from way back when. He became an entrepreneur through this journey that we've taken in podcast production. But the speech that he would give, I'm like, Strick, give me the flywheel speech. Why are we paying our team and we're not making any money for these first couple of years? Sometimes you want to give up. And it really does help to have someone that's in the hunt on this journey with you, because man, you have somebody to commiserate with. You have somebody that can be compassionate with you. There's somebody that can empathize of the things that you're going through. In your case, as a solo entrepreneur or founder that comes to you, I'm assuming that you can take a lot of that responsibility of that co-founder with them, because man, having a coach help you through that's got to be like a really valuable experience. Do you find the same?
Yeah, I mean, I started this because I got coached myself, right? So I've experienced coaching firsthand. At one point in my career, I had a coach shadow me for 2 full years. And that really changed my leadership style. It changed my core. And then I became a coach myself. And I also studied, I don't know if you've heard of a gentleman, he's a renowned speaker globally called Gabor Mate. So I've studied through his program, and that really changed me, changed how I function, it changed how I behave. And so I have seen thousands and thousands of people change their businesses, change their lives because of coaching. And so I totally believe in this with all my heart, because I think that you need a mirror, you need a sounding board, you need somebody who can actually understand that this is just a story that's stuck in your head and it's not true. It's just a story, and you could shift that story. And so I believe in that, and I can, vouch for the changes that I've seen. And I feel that I can make the same changes to entrepreneurs specifically, because I am a founder myself and I've gone through that journey myself, and I know how hard it is. And we do that not only with the founder, but also with the leadership team that comes with the founder. So we believe in collective change and in basically selling bulk coaching engagements where you go to a company and you say, I'm going to take on your whole team or your whole leadership team, and I'm going to transform them from point A to point B. And you're going to go on that journey with me, and you're going to see the results with me.
Some people respond well to things like mantras, and some people respond well to things like intentions, and other people are goal setters. The Western world is all about goal, and the Eastern world is all about mindset. Any particular success patterns you're seeing on either side? Is one group do better than the other, or can you work in either environment?
I think I can work in either environment. You do need a person who's willing to go on that journey, because if they've been sent to go on that journey, then they're not going to see success through that journey. That fire has to come from within. When I first started coaching, my manager didn't think I needed coaching. I wanted the coaching. I had a deep need and a deep want within me to actually be coached. And that's what made my coaching successful, because I actually had so much drive within me to change, and I wanted that change, and I welcomed that change, and I was willing to set the goals and make them happen because I wanted to do that. But if you have an individual who's on the fence, and I see a lot of these, one day they want it and another day they don't, and they're for different reasons, right? Then they're not going to see the results of coaching.
So if someone is in our community and they're interested in just trying to figure out, okay, is what Lubna is talking about, is it good for me? What is the best way for them to? Do you have packages? Do you have an intro meeting? What's the agenda look like for you?
Yeah, so we do an intro meeting, and the first intro meeting is free. And then we have 2 packages. So people come to us either because they want purpose coaching. So they want to understand, they want to find their purpose. They want to articulate their purpose through a story because that will help them fundraise and that will help them basically win clients and enhance their culture. Or we have clients that have various other issues that they come to us for. And there it's a 3 months engagement. And our pricing is on our, we have a link that we share with people that's publicly available, and it's all subscription based. So we charge everybody the same price, whether you're a huge, startup or business, or you're just a solo entrepreneur starting out. Everybody gets charged the same, and it's all, very humble fees in my view that get them going.
Excellent. And is there a website or a contact page? How do they get to that?
Yeah. So our website is y-stories.com, and that's where they find info on our services, on founder mental resilience. We do have another website for the storytelling side of the business, and they'll find that also through the main website. And they can touch base with me on LinkedIn. I'm most present on LinkedIn. I'd say that's where my active community is. So they can touch base with me there, and I'd be more than happy to offer them a free session.
That's great. And I'll make sure I'm just adding some of the show notes now. I'm going to make sure that you have a link to the Y Stories. It's why-stories.com, not the letter Y, but the Y, W-H-Y. We'll make sure we put a link for Lubna's website and for her LinkedIn account directly in the show notes. Lubna, thanks for sharing what you do and how you do it. And thanks for sharing your gifts with the world and to our Nice Guy community. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Nice Guy community, never underestimate the power of nice. Again, special thanks to Lubna Forzley. All of her information, including access to her LinkedIn and her website, will be right there in the show notes. Steve O'Brien, go ahead and take us out of here.
Thanks for listening to the Nice Guys on Business. Please go to patreon.com/niceguys. And for as little as $1 a month, you can help support this show. You remember that thing down in Panama, right? Come on. You owe them.